Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza.
Who is on first? Why, it's your host, SteelFlyers.
Thank you. That is our delightful co-host, Ronies.
The start of the Pickett Era, brought to you by the end of the Trubisky Era.
The Lions slogged it out against the Wildcats as PSU beats Northwestern to go 5-0.
Flyer season is upon us, and who do we feel will make opening night roster?
Perez gets a win last week, and Ferrari finishes second and third in Singapore with the teams in Suzuka this weekend.
Yes.
And thank you very much for checking us out and taking a listen. We really appreciate all you guys scoping us and logging on and seeing us, listening to us, and all the other happy. Thank you guys very much.
Yes,
we
thank
really,
you.
Really appreciate that. Also, a big thank you and props to Spreaker for all of their great support and all the great stuff that they do. Spreaker puts out your podcast to all of the podcasting platforms. All you have to do is go to Google or Apple or iHeart or whatever and type in SteelFlyers podcast, and we will come up thanks to Spreaker. Now, Spreaker, great service, man. All you have to do is hop on a Spreaker. They got all kind of great plans for you, and they even got a free plan so you can put your podcast out there, and then as long as you can get registered, and they'll be able to put your podcast out there.
That's cool.
I know, it's great, right? It's really awesome, too. So, really big thanks to Spreaker for all the help that they do to help get the podcast out there for all you great folks to listen to. So, thank you to them. Well, we have to start off with this because a couple of things here we're going to talk about here. We're going to do a little maintenance here at SteelFlyers podcast. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on air, but we were able to attend...
Yes, we were.
The Steelers versus the Jets game. So we witnessed the start of the Kenny Pickett era, brought to you by the end of the Trubisky era. The short-lived Trubisky era. Thank God. Anyway.
So, on that, the fact that we were there, so we're sitting in the stands, and we're listening to the people behind us, and I hear, Trubisky's got a helmet on. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. Pickett's got a helmet on.
Yeah, and Trubisky's got a baseball hat on. And I was like, really?
And I'm like,
no.
Oh, it could be. Because we literally had just said, I can't believe Mike is going to stay with him the whole season.
Or even just this whole game.
Right.
Like, okay, really? This is all you got?
The time, it must have been like 4 or 5 times in like the first half when the whole crowd started shouting, Kenny!
Every time that Trubisky jogged off the field, that whole section of the stadium, you could hear it, was just shouting Kenny.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, it was amazing. Like, I've been to quite a few games in my day, as far as I've been to quite a few Penn State games. I've been to a few Steeler games here and there. I've been blessed and lucky, and I've been to a few hockey games and things of that nature, and I've been to some other games, but a couple of times I was at Penn State, and you could feel Mo shifting from one side to the other. You could feel the energy, you could feel the electricity in the stadium, and I'm going to tell you something. It was that, like, standing on the back of your hair, standing on the back of your neck.
It really was. It was like, I don't think I've ever experienced something like that where, the whole stadium. Let me rephrase.
Except for Neil.
We got to know Neil very well.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Never met him, but we know who Neil is.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyway.
He was a Jets fan, so like a couple rows down in front of us, anyway.
And so the whole stadium mostly just had this feeling of, this is just going to be another disappointment, and it's just no hope. And then as soon as he dropped
Kenny Pickett,
as soon as he walked onto the field, the whole stadium, the whole feeling, I swear it felt like the sun broke through at that moment.
It kind of did, too.
And a little rainbow in the distance. And everybody was just happy.
Out of the north end of the stadium there, the open end,
yeah.
there was a little rainbow there in the background with the river. And, you know, and it got a little sunnier. Right?
Yeah.
As the game progressed, it got a little sunnier, you know?
It was warm and
it got a little warmer.
And it was just...
It was like...
People had hope again.
It was great. It was great. I mean, now, you know, of course we come crashing back down to reality. Because, you know, the defense really couldn't.
Well, I think...
What's going on?
Well, they're missing TJ.
One guy? You're telling me one guy?
Yeah, makes a
difference. They got brand new defensive coordinator supposed to be the guru. Tomlin's supposed to have his hand all up in it because he's supposed to be defensive-minded, quote unquote, right? We're supposed to have the highest paid defensive back, Minka, which dude's been balling out since day one.
I mean, look what he did at this game.
Like I said, dude's been balling out since game one. Okay? And now you're no pass rush? The last two games? I mean, we're talking about the Browns and the Jets. And you couldn't... Yeah, okay. A rookie quarterback who hasn't played a single snap yet this season, and Zach Wilson is able to come in and just light up Pittsburgh's defense? Like, really?
Okay.
I mean, they couldn't run, but dude was, like, able to make plays and do things. And
right. He had many times where he had a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah, because his jersey wasn't really dirty either. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, there is much need for improvement. We know that. If we can just break even this season, which I don't know that we can, if we could just maybe go 50-50 this season, I would be impressed.
Because, let's face it, the Jets and the Browns were the Steelers' really last bastion of win hope.
Yeah, because there's some teams that we're just not good enough to beat right now.
I mean...
And I'm sad to say that, but it's the truth, you know?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to... Here's the sick thing, right? Pittsburgh actually has a shot against the Bills. And the reason why is because the Bills are just utterly inundated. Their injury list is really long.
Okay.
All right. You know, so that's why I'm saying there's kind of that chance.
Yeah. Where
they might be able to... This is the first time since the 40s or something like that Pittsburgh is a 14-point dog.
Really?
Yeah. That is scary. Right? I mean, you're going into Buffalo as a 14-point dog?
Yeah.
First time since the 40s? I mean, okay.
Makes you feel real good.
No, really. Really, no.
It was
no.
/S, which means sarcasm.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the good. I thought Kenny Pickett took command.
Yeah, that was the other thing I noticed. The offensive line. I don't know. I could see them like
wanting to play for this guy.
They had a little more energy, a little more oomph.
Trying to protect this kid.
Yeah.
Like they just were kind of phoning it in against Trubisky. You know what I mean? Like
it just seemed like they were tired too. Like they're just fed up with losing as much as we are. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. As far as my opinion about what I got to see on the field, live and in person, there at Acrisure Stadium.
I missed the ketchup bottles.
We got to see the ketchup pour a couple times, so that was kind of cool.
Yes, thanks to our new quarterback, Kenny Pickett.
Right. What I meant by command, he came out and he commanded, and it was almost like when Ben came out for his first time ever after Tommy got hurt and Ben trotted out onto the field, and he walked into the huddle and like, I'm not kidding, there's been interviews with Alan Faneca and Jeff Hardings, who was the center at the time, and they said, yeah, this freaking guy comes in the huddle and just gets down on one knee and says, all right, guys, we got this. Let's go get it. And dude just went out and did it.
Right.
Right? And you can't help but have some respect for that kind of situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what a good quarterback's supposed to do.
That's what they get paid.
Not necessarily. I mean, yes, their physical ability is part of it, but they also have to have the ability to run the offensive line.
And win. Hey, win. Hey,
Right.
why don't you try to win? Hey, that's kind of the idea there, is to win. Score points and win. Oh, did I say win? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd kick you, but you'd enjoy it too much.
Yeah, so... Anyway, high heels. So... was very impressed to see... And as the weeks have gone on, I've been more impressed. By the way, if you guys don't get a chance, you do have to check out 5-Star Matchup. The man just nails it after every Steelers game. He just has great commentary, great back and forth, great insight, great vision, and a lot of humor. And I mean, the man just puts out quality, A+ product. And if you guys really want to check out some really great Steelers content, man, you got to go check out one of the best Steelers content guys out there on YouTube, 5-Star Matchup. Let's go check him out. But I was very impressed with how the offensive line has grown week to week.
Yes.
And they've gotten better now where the running backs have been able to gain more yards every week.
And it's not just Najee. It's not the same guy every time.
Yeah, I see. I think there's something up with Najee.
Well, I think he got hurt. Didn't he get hurt like during training camp or something? I think.
Exactly.
I think he's maybe still hurt a bit.
Exactly. I see. That's what I think is going on. I think it's lingering. He's been sharing more time with Jalen, getting more carries for him, and he's just been busting north and south. Mm-hmm. I mean, he just puts his head down and plows, right? And that's exactly what you need on this offense. You need that kind of switch hitter running back, third down guy, or guy that comes in and does 2 or 3 series during the game, who's just that straight ahead, plow it down guy, or almost like a finisher like Jerome Bettis was towards the end of his career.
Right.
Where he was able to just come in and it's third down and 3.
Yeah.
And he just gets those 3 yards automatic, or 4 yards, or whatever. 1 yard, gets that 1 yard and then some.
We saw this time, but I don't know. It seems to me it's been a long time. But we had a 3rd and short, I believe, with Kenny Pickett.
A couple of times.
And he just did the quarterback sneak. It was amazing.
And first down.
Right.
How about that? It's called a first down. I'm a little bit worried about the defense, especially going into the Bills, because not only is the Bills banged up on both sides of the ball, but Pittsburgh's secondary is also pretty banged up with Edmonds out with a concussion. We're not really... I think Minka might play, but don't hold me to that. Mm. We haven't been getting any pass rush, so everything's been falling on the defense, and the offense wasn't scaring anybody. So that's that's pretty much spelling disaster right there for you.
Right.
I think the Bills haven't really seen a lot of Kenny Pickett other than what he's done in college and or whatever the case is.
And last week, but that was
only a half of play because Kenny Pickett came in at the beginning of the second half. Also, another key factor I think that's going to have to take center stage is Pickens is starting.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, a good combination, don't you?
Okay, so here's where I think you gotta. I really think you gotta sit Olszewski or the gunner. I really think he needs to take a seat and or something. I maybe he just needs to continue to be the kick returner or whatever. But I'm not real pleased with that situation. And I would much rather, if you're going to feature somebody, why are you featuring him? Why don't you feature
Your rookie?
number 14?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that. The dude is like 5 foot nothing, right? And Pickens is like 6 foot, like, I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. I mean, excuse me, Mr. Canada.
I think there's a lot of people that would like to go, excuse me, Mr. Canada, can I speak to you for a moment? And then smack him. No, I would never advocate violence, never.
I think...
Maybe shake him a little.
I think maybe a boot to the... A boot to the you-know-what? A boot to the you-know? Get down on the field. What are you doing still sitting in the press box? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Okay? I still don't get why Mike Tomlin doesn't carry a clipboard. I just don't get it. He supposedly has a hand in the defense, but yet I don't even see a clipboard of defensive calls or no. I don't get it. I don't see him making any calls. I don't get it.
I don't know what to tell you.
Anyway.
So let's segue a little.
Yeah, I want to say one more little thing here. I would also like to say that I'm going to be very excited to see what happens now with Kenny Pickett in. I think the offensive line is getting better. I think now you finally got the quarterback that should be in.
Mm-hmm.
He's been the best quarterback in the room since the beginning. Right? He's hands down was better all day long than Mason Rudolph. Right?
I have this odd thought. I feel bad for Mitch. I really do, because I feel like the coaching staff kind of misled him.
You think?
And they kept saying, no, he's our starter. We're not starting Pickett until next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And 3 games in, they changed their mind. I mean...
They had to.
I know, but I feel bad for Mitch, because...
Well, he had a shot. He had a shot. I don't feel bad for him at all. I do not feel bad for a millionaire who's now going to sit down and make $8 million to ride the bench. Right? So that's about the only thing you're going to be guaranteed. And I'm sorry, but he's just not, or was not, good enough to even be a starting quarterback. His best capability is going to be as a backup. Just how it is. It's just how, Trubisky's a really good athlete and he's a really nice guy, but he just doesn't look like he plays quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when he was with Chicago, and we watched a lot of Chicago games, you know what I'm saying? He just never looked like he was playing quarterback.
Right.
You know, he was just kind of back there, like, just being back there, like, hey, I made it, and you... Anyway. So, I think with the remaining schedule, Tampa Bay coming up, that's going to be a real ugly, tough game, and then the Baltimore games, another Cincinnati game, and another Browns game coming up. And some of the other games with the Dolphins and such for the Steelers this year, it's just looking ugly. So I'm going to see how this team fights. I want to see how this team puts up with the adversity of not being able to be successful in the win column.
Yeah.
I want to see guys calling each other out, and I want to see who's going to step up. Okay, because I'm going to tell you something. We're probably going to get TJ back here in about 4 weeks, maybe.
Hopefully.
He's probably going to come after the bye.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. Give him that extra week to heal.
Exactly.
And then bring him in.
Exactly. Because from what I've been seeing, he's been practicing, not, contact per se, but,
right.
He's been practicing as well, too.
So he's staying in shape so he doesn't,
It's not the same, but he's still, All right. With that being said, shout out to Mr. Lance Green. Hockey Writers Inc. By the way, if you guys get a chance, go check out the Hockey Writers Inc. All about the Philadelphia Flyers with the writer extraordinaire, editor-in-chief of the SteelFlyers.com website, Hockey Writers Inc. Lance Green. Oh my gosh, we just dropped a new episode today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys gotta go check that out, man. Hockey Writers Inc. Go to your favorite platform, type in Hockey Writers Inc. Of course, after you type in Steel Flyers.
You also had Perlo Wisdom on with you.
Oh, we had a great guest with Perlo Wisdom, man. Big shout out to the Perlo Wisdom, man, for sure, man. You guys got to go check him out. That guy is making people money. He really is, man. You guys got to go check out what he's doing. He is a professional handicapper, and you guys got to go check him out. He makes people money. He almost feels like, I know I'm going to date myself, but he kind of, I called it out. I called him a little Jimmy the Greek.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, boy, because he's that good. He's just that good, So, shout out to the big Perlo Wisdom. So, yeah, for sure. Got to go check that out. Anyway, so, moving on to, speaking of Hockey Writers Inc. and the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, their season starts next Thursday.
Yep, against the New Jersey Devils.
Yay. Let me try that again. Yay!
That almost sounded like real. Almost sounded like real.
Almost.
Okay. I'm actually very excited about this season.
Okay.
I really am, because I really can't wait to see what Tortorella does with this team. I really can't wait to see how he wrangles the guys on this team.
Well, speaking of that, a lot of people are not happy with Tortorella already because he set down a prospect that everybody thought was going to be on the team.
Yeah, well, see, maybe that's not all him either. I don't see. That's just where I don't know, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm really not, because I'm not. I'm excited to see what a coach like Tortorella is going to do for this team, because I think he's the type of coach that this team needs, although I think they needed it 4 years ago. I guess we'll take it now. I mean, the post-game press conferences are going to be fun.
Well, they already are.
Like I said, they're going to be fun. and I'm just hoping that he is good for the team instead of good for Tortorella. Because he said he's learned some lessons and all that. And I'm just going to go on record right now and saying that I am not a fan of John Tortorella at all. Up, down, sideways, left and right. Just never
Up until,
was.
Well, I mean,
Just never was.
Right.
Just never was a fan. I always felt the guy was all about himself. Now, I understand coaches are supposed to take it for the team and they're supposed to deflect and they're supposed to do that. But he made it more, it wasn't that he looked like he was deflecting. He was just making it more about him.
Okay.
It just kind of came across that way to me.
Okay.
Just came across that way to me. It's just my opinion. Okay? He is one of the most winningest American coaches the NHL has seen. He has a Jack Adams Award. Actually, he has 2 of them.
Wow.
Okay, right. And he also has a Stanley Cup. Okay? And the guy knows how to get production out of players. The guy knows how to coach teams. I think he's a really, really good coach. Okay.
But is he the right coach right now?
See, I think he was the right coach 4 years ago. I think he should have been hired instead of AV.
Right.
But at the time, he was not available, and so, but I wasn't, see, it's hard for me to say that because I'm not a fan of his per se, even though I know he's one of those types of coaches that can get the best out of players. Okay? And so that's kind of what Philadelphia needs, right?
How long do you think before we see improvement?
Next year.
Okay.
Yeah, next year.
So this year is just done already, do you think?
I think this is going to be a building year. I think this is going to be one of those years where we're going to get to see the Tortorella effect.
Okay.
In full swing. Because if he's going to be able to have influence to say, yeah, this guy is not toeing the line, or this guy isn't playing to expectations, or whatever, and he needs to go. He's already done it with Cam York.
Right.
But I think that's kind of a loaded situation, and some of the other guys I think too, because of the fact that management ownership has gone out and signed these retread 35, 33-year-old guys that shouldn't have no place on this team.
Yeah, I don't get that either. You got a lot of fresh talent, but maybe they feel they need somebody with some experience to lead these kids. Or is that just me being naive?
I mean, you need a couple veterans, but you don't need a whole bloody slew of them. I mean, especially if you're blocking kids. And you're not going to win, so you might as well play the kids and give them the experience and see what you got.
Right.
I mean, you might as well lose together. Teams that lose together usually end up winning together.
Right.
We talked about this on the Hockey Writers Inc. Show with the great Perla Wisdom and the great Lance Green, is that, you got to put forth the effort. You know what I mean? You just can't expect things to happen. It's got to happen. You got to do the work. You got to do the look, I'm not saying that Tortorella's not pushing them through a tough preseason and all that other stuff, and that's all great. You know what I mean? But you got to have the guys buying in. You got to have the guys being on the same page, and you got to have the guys that are talented enough to play, and you do need to have
the energy to play too.
You need so that's the other thing too. Are you grinding these guys now to try to make your point now that you're Tortorella and you're in charge, right? So now you got to have this tough camp, which I'm not saying is not a bad thing, right?
Right.
But Perlo pointed it out. You know what I mean? Like, you grind guys in, and if you still have legs, then you're gonna make it.
Right.
And if you grind guys and they don't have legs, they're not going to make it. And Cam York was one of those guys that he got ground and he wasn't going to make it this year. Right? So is it the right call to send him down? I'm torn. Because if there wasn't a Justin Braun or a Connington or a Sealer or any one of these guys on the team,
the older guys,
then there wouldn't be any question he would be playing top 4 minutes on his natural side.
Yeah.
Okay, but he didn't even really have that great of a camp though either.
That's what I've read, is that he didn't have the greatest camp, and there might have been a little friction between him and John Tortorella, and so maybe this is... And honestly, he's probably going to get more playtime on the Phantoms.
So that's why I'm torn.
Yeah, because he's really going to get some playtime.
At least that's the theory.
Because he'll be one of their leaders, right?
That's the theory. Because we saw he's the captain of the United States team in the World Juniors when they won the gold medal. He was one of the main reasons why they did win the gold medal, you know what I mean? And so... But yeah, he's now going to... And that's why I'm torn. Because I want to see him be on the Flyers because I think he's better than those older guys, hands down. Okay? I mean, it takes a little while to groom defensemen. But if you're going to lose, why not have him up there and play his natural position and learn?
Right.
What's he doing? I mean, if he's playing top 4 minutes up in the big club or if he's playing top 4 minutes down at the minor league club, I'd much rather him be playing top 4 minutes at the big club.
Right.
But sending him down should produce Cam York to be playing in all situations, all defensive situations, power play, penalty kill, 5s
Right.
on 4, 4s on 4s, whatever. And that will be the test, right? And he should be available for call up or whatever the case is. But yeah, he should be the main man down there now. You know what I mean? Now's your time. This is what the AHL is for. This is what Lance pointed out too. That the AHL is for these young guys to come in and develop and learn to play professional hockey.
Right.
You should not have all these guys spread out all over the bleeding world and counting on them to develop these players. No, if they're signed to a contract, bring them to the frickin' building.
Right.
Right? You know what? Anyway, Los Angeles is doing it. Anaheim's doing it. Buffalo's doing it. Detroit's doing it. I mean, what? Okay. I'm also very concerned about the goaltending situation going on here with Philadelphia.
Isn't Hart hurt?
Hart is currently listed as day to day, but is expected to be available for the opening game of the season.
Okay.
He has not played since last April. Has not suited up, has not had any shots faced in anger. I mean, he's had practice.
That's not the same.
It's not the same. Hasn't had to face a shot in anger since last April. That's a long time.
Maybe that time has given him time to heal and get healthy and
get his brain screwed on or whatever.
I think he's another one that's kind of getting the raw end of the deal.
Does kind of seem like, we get this really great, talented goaltender, and then we just plop him on this team that doesn't have anything in front of him. And then just basically hang everything on this goaltender like, yeah, you're supposed to be the next coming. Why aren't you winning us games? Never mind that, none of the guys are playing in front of him and, whatever.
Right. He's not getting some development that he probably could use. And
right, because he probably could have used that time down in the minors and didn't get that time down there in the minors. Goaltenders and defensemen are usually the longest development players, or they take the longest to develop.
Right.
As far as finding their game and, getting into the rhythm. That's why, most goaltenders, once they start getting into, their late 20s, early 30s, that's when they're in their prime. Because now they've kind of figured it out. They've played a couple of years in the league or whatever. Forwards and centers, I'm not saying that's hard because you have responsibility as a forward, you have responsibility as a center, but you're pretty much just straight ahead passing and shooting.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's
You've
a lot
got one job to do.
You're right. Oh, two jobs.
Well, score a goal.
Score a goal and set up your teammates to score goals. you know, so yeah. And not get scored on. So 3 things.
Right. Now we're adding. Now you're just making it too hard.
All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to make it sound like like hockey
people.
Forwards have it much easier than hockey defensemen or goalies. And
how about hitting people?
Oh yeah. Hey, that's 5. Oh snap. That's it. We're fired. We just laid 5 responsibilities.
How about face-offs?
See, now, stop. See, really? Now you're just going off the rails now, see?
Oh, now I'm getting in trouble.
I'm telling you. Here's the other thing, too, that's kind of another issue as well. Couturier might be back sooner than we think.
That would be good.
That would be good. He won't be there for the start of the season, as will Joel Farabee not be there for the start.
That's going to hurt.
Well, all right, let me rephrase. He's been practicing, but he has not been cleared for contact.
Right.
Okay? And he has not played in any of the preseason games, but he has been practicing. Now, with the injury that he's had, disc repair, replacement surgery, whatever, in his neck, that's no joke. He's one of only 3 players in the league that has a metal plate in his neck now because of that surgery. So, yeah, let's rush him back.
Give him some time to heal.
Right. So I don't know if he'll make the start of the season. I don't know how. I think TK should be okay. I believe everybody, for the most part, it should be okay. Obviously, the Ryan Ellis and the Bobby Brink and the Joel Farabee, I think, is going to probably miss the first couple games or whatever. Maybe.
I would rather him miss the first couple games.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I'm with you on that too. So
I mean, our expectations, I guess, are kind of low. So any success we get is gonna be really great.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to climb out of the bottom half of the division this year. They're going to be fighting with New Jersey and Buffalo to who's going to be the best of the worst. I think, yeah.
Just remember, if you're not last, you're not last. You know what I mean?
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. And with that, back to the studio. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that one either.
Oh.
But yeah, the start of the season, like I said, gonna be interesting, especially against New Jersey. That's gonna be a tough game. That's really gonna be a tough game. I think so.
You think?
Yeah.
Didn't we play them in the preseason?
No, I don't think so. Maybe once. Sorry. Boston, Islanders, Capitals. Played the Islanders twice. Capitals.
That's who I'm thinking of, the Islanders. Sorry.
And we were 1-5 in the preseason.
Yay! So, we've gone from the West and we've gone east to the Flyers. Now let's go a little bit north.
A little bit north. Yes.
Something happy.
Yes.
Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. Yeah, Happy Valley. You mean Soggy Valley.
Well, Ian wanted to go to the game too.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, Penn State at Happy Valley, or we mean Soggy Valley, as it rained all over Northwestern's chances of victory against number 11 Penn State.
Does that make Penn State undefeated so far this year?
Yes, they are 5-0.
Awesome.
How about that? And they're 10th ranked.
Wow.
Right? How about that?
We went from the very bottom to the top 10.
I mean, they weren't even talking about Penn State, to now they're in the top 10.
Right.
Like, all right, cool. By the way, folks, just in case, you got to go check it out. The Nittany Report. That's right. After each game, SteelFlyers, your host, will break down all the great plays and all the great stats and some good commentary all about the Penn State Nittany Lions. We are Penn State. Got to go check that out on the YouTube channel. It's called the Nittany Report. So got to go check that out. After each game, we'll have a cool little video there for you guys to check out about a breakdown of the game. We'd really appreciate you watching that. So thank you very much. But I have to tell you something. Because of the rain, and I have to tell you, I have some inside information about the game, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
I heard that it was okay until about an hour before kickoff, and then the deluge hit.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, tailgating was in full swing, and all was good.
And everybody was happy, and then...
And then the rain came, and nobody was happy anymore after that. But I am going to say this. I really think that the Penn State defense is getting better and better each week. I think they clamped down a little bit more on the Wildcats now. Obviously, the weather had a huge factor.
Oh, I'm sure.
To do with it in this game as well, too. We had a real nice wrap-up there on the Nittany Report and broke down that Sean Clifford actually played the whole game.
Just the first time this season he's done that?
First time this whole season, yeah, he's played the whole game. Had a nice touchdown pass to Tinsley.
Okay, that's always good.
I'm sorry, Brandon Strange was the touchdown pass for this one. Brandon Strange,
okay.
Sorry. That's another touchdown for him. That was his only catch. Brandon Strange in the game here against Northwestern, but it was a touchdown for like 17 yards, I believe it was for. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I
Here's
didn't get to watch it. So
Yeah, here's the thing. Look, Nick Singleton is the real deal. Okay, and Katon Allen is also the real deal. And I'm giving it up for the offensive line here at Penn State because they had two running backs, both over 86 yards.
Wow.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
I wish I knew another team that could do that. That's in the same state.
It's just a little further west.
Yeah.
And south.
Sorry.
Anyway, but so yeah, a good win for Penn State. They're off this week, and then they touch down at Ann Arbor for next week.
Are they at the big house next week?
They are at the big house.
The following week, sorry.
This week they're off. This is their bye week. So the following weekend is Penn State at the big house. Right now, that's Penn State ranked 10th and Michigan ranked 4th.
It'll be an interesting game.
And I'm going to tell you, I think they have a shot. I think Penn State has a shot. I think this defense with Chop Johnson and Porter Jr. playing lights out, okay? The offensive line is getting better. Clifford wasn't even... There was no sacks on Clifford at all.
Wow, that's impressive.
Exactly. And two running backs that had 86 yards a piece. Okay, game ball to the offensive line.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they scored 17 points.
Very nice.
So, yeah. Really excited about Penn State, but man, I'll tell you what, going to be a real good game. It's going to be 12 o'clock, noontime. Well, actually 1 o'clock East Coast time because of Michigan. Is 1 hour. Noontime is when the kickoff is going to be there in Michigan. And really excited about that game for next week. So, but also got to be checking out the Nittany Report after each game. So off this week, and be checking us out next week after the game in Michigan. We'll have a breakdown of everything that happened and what went wrong or what went right or
combination thereof.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Thank you. And with that, we're gonna get right into them guys there with those open wheels.
They're in Japan this.
It's Go Fast Weekend. I like Go Fast Weekend, don't you?
It's always fun.
It's always fun because it's just a good fun weekend when you have to have Go Fast Day, right? Go Fast Day being qualifying on Saturdays, right? Okay.
Right.
So, and this is another one where they're back-to-back weekends. Last weekend they were in Singapore in another rain-soaked kind of. They started on the inters for the most part and ran pretty much.
How long was the
3/4 of the race on the inters, on the intermediate tires?
How long was the rain delay? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was like 35 minutes or something like that. So there was a big rain delay too as well.
Yeah. They
barely finished with enough time left in the race. You know, they give you like 2 hours or whatever the time limit is, and they were right up against, if they'll go, and then when the time ends, that's it. Doesn't matter how many laps are left.
That's it.
Time's up, right? But they didn't get that. They actually got to do it. And Perez led pretty much the whole entire race, and Ferrari gets Leclerc second and Sainz third on the podium.
That's good. I mean, at least we're getting on the podium.
We
finished the race.
Both of them. Both caught. Yeah, hey. I don't know, man. Verstappen didn't finish. I think he didn't have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did. I can't remember if he scored some points or not. Hold on.
Well,
let's get the crack research staff here to break down the previous race. Which, hey, hold on. We're almost
he finished
there.
7th.
Yeah, 7th. So that's not the best.
Not for somebody who's been winning.
Right. You know what I mean. So, needs to finish a little higher because that's only like 4 points. Now with Perez winning, a Red Bull was still able to score double points with both their cars finishing and with Perez finishing the top step.
Right.
But Ferrari was able to gain some ground with second and third in the Drivers' Championship, and then as well in the Constructors as well too. So good on the guys for that.
It's been an interesting season for Formula One because not the same guy is not winning every single race. It's been frustrating for Ferrari people, but it's
that's a good way to put that.
It's been it's fun to watch the race again because you don't necessarily know who's going to win.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
Because they're not out there by 14 seconds.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like it.
Yeah.
No, I like it. And it's nice seeing guys fighting for wins instead of just. Although I don't necessarily have a problem with the same guy winning over and over each week.
Yeah, well, if it's
a red car,
it's the red car. We wouldn't complain.
We don't got no problems with that.
Then it would be same guy every week's great. That's the perfect way to watch a race.
I mean, yeah, as long as we get to hear the Italian national anthem at the end of the race, we're all good. Everything's great. All right, and with that, folks, we got to say this, man. We're wrapping up another great episode here. We're season 2, episode 10, and we got the Flyers coming up here with their opening season on the 13th, and then we had the start of the Kenny Pickett era, right? And we got to see that live. I mean, we witnessed that.
I got pictures, man.
We got pictures. We have evidence. We were there. We have evidence. So. Lots of thanks to Spreaker for all the great stuff that they do, and thank you guys for listening and for checking us out. Please hit the like and subscribe. Please hit the little 5 stars on your platforms. That helps to rate us, and that helps to get us a little bit better out there, too. You know what I mean? So
awesome. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, too. So thank you all very much for checking out the SteelFlyers podcast. Just remember, folks, stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.